Auckland Zoo's made the incredibly difficult decision to send both our lovely elephants to new homes, and this is largely around our ability to really get these guys in an environment where there's a multi-generational herd, more than 2 elephants. Auckland Zoo's had a really long history of having elephants. The first elephant arrived around about 1923. And I think, like a lot of our visitors that come in, just by the sheer size that they are just in total awe of these guys.
What's that big girl?
So we're really proud of our program here at the zoo. It's about developing them, developing their social skills. These guys are just such good advocates for those elephants that are doing it tough out there. And the reality is elephants are an endangered species. And if we don't help those elephants out there in the wild, well, then they have the chance of becoming extinct. There's roughly around about 35,000 wild Asian elephants out there. When you look at the issues facing elephants, it's a real struggle. So Angelie was born in an orphanage in Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka is about half the size of the North Island of New Zealand, and you've got around about 5,000 to 6,000 wild elephants. You match that to then a population of 23 million people, they're bound to come into contact with one another. They come across a paddy field or a banana plantation. The elephants, who eat anywhere from 150 kilos of food every day, they go in, they destroy a crop in a night. And for that poor farmer, and it's really heartbreaking because they're relying on that one harvest a year to feed their families. Farmer gets extremely upset and shoots or poisons the elephant that comes onto their property. And this is what we call human-elephant conflict. We have some really good partnerships with our conservation organisations in Sri Lanka, the Centre for Conservation Research and the Biodiversity Elephant Conservation Trust. We have our research-based conservation stuff, but then we also have our schools awareness. The good thing from our point of view is that we're still looking to maintain these relationships. One thing I've always said, you save elephants, you save so many other species as well. It's not unusual for some elephants to become orphans. Angelie was from Pinawala Elephant Orphanage. So the whole objective of Angelie coming here was to be the start of our breeding group here at the zoo. Now, she was meant to be accompanied with another elephant, Nandi. Unfortunately, after Angelie leaving and coming here, Nandi got tied up in a court case within Sri Lanka. There's still no resolution to that. So then looking at how do we achieve this multi-generation herd, years ago we started our artificial insemination process with Angelie, and so that's where we require some remarkable guys from Germany who are reproductive specialists. Here they are.
An AI program in an elephant is a very challenging task. It requests a lot of logistic coordination. It was very responsible from the Auckland Zoo to choose AI for this young female, because normally zoos would say we have time, we import the bull later on. But what we saw already is that Angelie developed pathology, and with this pregnancy, if it was successful, all these problems are solved.
Breeding is very important, not only for conservation, also for animal health, for the health status of the female. Very important for the international breeding program. So to show that it's possible to transfer the gametes across the countries.
Go little guy.
We would all love another opportunity to really see all of our learnings that we've taken from our procedures. But then COVID hit, and then in amongst all of that, semen availability became a problem as well. We've really got to get these guys into an environment where they can be in a dynamic group of elephants, where they all play a role, where they be in that multi-generation herd. We didn't know as much as what we know now back when Burma was a youngster. We've got that obligation, both morally and ethically, to really preserve the chance for Angelie to have a calf of her own. Might turn out that she can't get pregnant. That's okay, but we've got to do everything within our power to allow her that opportunity. We've always said as a team that look after these guys, we've got to put them first. I guess from the elephant team's point of view, it's very hard for us to say that we think the right thing to do is to move the elephants out. As an elephant team's preference it was of sending Angelie for a breeding holiday, putting her in a position to see if she can conceive, have a calf of her own, to then bring her back pregnant and still have our ability to form that nucleus of a herd here at the zoo. But there are so many associated risks with all of that, and when we weigh up all of that, the wider decision was that we need to move them to a new home, and we understand that, and our predominant focus now is about doing our best job to achieve that and doing the best thing by the elephants. One of the main sad things about it all, aside from these guys, is that New Zealand will be without elephants. I think people don't realise what that actually means just yet, you know, and I think we've had so many good times with these guys, but to not have that, I think, is pretty devastating. Angelie and Burma, they both have individual needs that are quite different. We've chosen to send Angelie to Taronga Western Plains Zoo, and then we've made what seemed like a difficult decision for some people to actually separate the elephants, and Burma will be going to Australia Zoo. Now, I guess one of the parts of that decision is the fact that their relationship is around companionship. You wouldn't necessarily do this if it was a maternal bond. They're good mates, they also do like their time apart, and then they'll come together at different times. It comes back to what is it that these guys need individually and for their long-term welfare. Angelie, because she's Miss Independent, because of her upbringing and her nature, everything about her, transitioning to another home is going to be somewhat a lot easier for her than what it's likely to be for Burma. Taronga Western Plains Zoo, they've got a breeding group of elephants and a proven breeding male. If she's to get into a position where she breeds, have a youngster of her own, she's always going to have that support of her family around her. Burma's needs are slightly different. Burma's spent 30 years with keepers looking after her, in with her and involved with her. At Australia Zoo, we can go in with her, we can help her learn how to use her new habitat and support her through that process. Australia Zoo have recently acquired 4 elephants from Indonesia, and Burma will hopefully play a pretty integral role within their group. Burma being the older of the group of elephants, we're hoping that she can really play an auntie's role there. She's quite I want to say level-headed elephant. She's really matured over the years. It'll be really nice to see her, you know, put some of these younger elephants under her ear and look after them, and I'm really kind of looking forward to that. As hard as it's going to be. I want to find her a forever home. That will be her forever group of elephants. A common question we're asked at the moment is around why don't we send them back to the wild? I've come across some horrific things, whether it's bullet holes or whatever in a national park, so what's meant to be a safe area for elephants. Angelie was born at the orphanage. It would always kind of have a special place for me because I've spent a lot of time there with bringing her over. It's really difficult because they do have a large number of elephants. They don't have the facilities that we have here, and so they're really restricted around how they manage elephants. Angelie spent a lot of time on tethers or chained, and so behaviourally that has an impact. As their carers, I really do believe sending them to the homes that we were sending them is the right thing to do. When we talk about a sanctuary, it's often a word that's flung around for different reasons, and I've often said it's not about the size of space. I've seen elephants with large areas, but they don't use it because they haven't been taught how to use it. Whether it's throwing dirt over themselves, whether it's playing in the pool, whether it's the social dynamics, is how do we acquire that? In some ways, when we talk about the decision being made, it hasn't been easy, but we've had to move on from that now. We've really had to focus ourselves on preparing these guys for the move. I think what's really hard for us is really trying to take the emotion out of it. And it's really hard because we really know that even coming back to an empty paddock, that's going to be incredibly tough. We support each other through all of this. We've had some incredible support from our director, which is really important. Some people don't realise that it's forever. So if you do want to see these guys before they go, then please pop in, and it's really important for us to have the support that we've been getting, and we want to thank you for that.